Hi everyone, this is Amagati. Welcome back to my channel. I am your family life coach. I know we say this all the time, but I am. And so here we are. Anyway, welcome back. I today want to talk to us about an incident that happened in my house this morning. This morning was really cold where I live. Woke up and I was looking at the weather and we were reading 19 degrees in Fahrenheit. So I don't know what that is minus in Celsius, but it was below freezing. Freezing is 32 degrees. So if you're 19, you are about 11 or 12, if I did the math right, below freezing. That is very cold. And so I am downstairs making breakfast for my family. It's about 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. And I look over and the temperature is reading 19 degrees. So I freak out because it's cold. And so I am downstairs and just yelling at everyone upstairs to get their coats on because God knows my children do not like wearing their coats. Some of them don't even know where their coat is. So anyway, so I am downstairs and I'm yelling at everyone, including my husband, to wear their coats because it is cold. Okay. So one by one, and so I'm saying wear your coats, wear your hats, wear your gloves. It's going to be cold. And it felt like I was just talking to the wall because one by one, every member of my family came downstairs, not bundled up enough for this weather. And I was getting frustrated, especially for my youngest one, because I feel like he's going to be outside quite a bit for recess and all of that. So I really wanted him to bundle up. I was telling him to wear his thermal pants underneath his pants so he's warm and layer up, but none of that happened. Okay. So here they are leaving, and here I am getting so frustrated because nobody's listening to me and to the fact that it is really cold. And then, of course, as the mama of the house, I know that when people get sick in this house, it's going to be double duty for me because now I have to take care of everybody else, including the sick person. And so I'm like, look, I don't want anyone getting sick. Everyone bundle up. That didn't happen. They still left. In fact, one of them left without a jacket at all in this 19-degree weather. One of them wore a jacket but didn't wear a hat. I mean, all the things I said just went over everyone's head. So it got me thinking of a word that was thrown around a lot when I was a teacher. In the school that I used to teach, we did a whole workshop on the word agency. 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 I can spell. So agency. All right. So let's talk about agency. What does agency mean? And why is that important to instill agency, a sense of agency in our children? So agency in its most simplistic form is the ability to have your child take initiatives and take ownership for their own decision. Okay. So you want to get your child to the place where they're able to make decisions on their own and also take initiatives without you having to constantly tell them what to do. So if you watch my last video, I did say that we should be raising adults, right? Because the hope is that our children will grow up to become independent adults. And that's what you want. You really don't want a 35-year-old always coming back home asking you what to do every step of the way, unless you're a helicopter parent, which is not cool, right? So you don't want that. You want your child to learn independence. You also want your child to have good decision making skills. For them to be able to do that, you need to let them have agency on their own, build that skill on their own. So let's go back to what happened this morning when I was downstairs yelling at everyone because the weather was cold. I did tell everyone what the weather was. Actually, I said it more than once, but I did say it. Everyone in my family heard that the weather was cold, right? Now it's up to them to make the decision and take a step with the information that I have provided. Okay. So after I had said the weather is cold, in teaching agency to my children, what I do is, first of all, they already know when the weather is cold, this is what you should be doing. So I need to teach that too, right? And which I think I have, because you're preteen and a teenager now. So they already know when the weather is cold, bundle up because it's cold. I have told them the weather is cold. Me taking the other step, telling them what to do with that information, was not teaching them agents, because they already know what to do with that information, right? What I needed to do was to step back, because I have given them that information. Whatever they do with that information is now on them, right? They have to decide, do I need a hat? Do I need gloves? Do I need extra layer under my pants or under my shirt? Should I wear a pullover or a sweater and then put my jacket on? That is on them. They're old enough to make that decision. And I needed to step back and give them the ownership, that sense of agency, to take that on and take that initiative. But I pushed a little further, because now I had my own agenda too, because I don't want anyone getting sick in my house, right? But now that I think of the situation, because I don't get it right either. Just because I'm a coach doesn't mean I know it all, right? And so me stepping back allows them to make that decision. Now, as I record this, they've been in school for about 2 hours at this point. They're probably freezing, or they're probably okay. But it is a decision that they had to make, and they have to learn from that decision they made. I don't have to be overbearing and overly protecting and overly telling them what to do. I give them the information. Whatever they do is up to them, right? So let's take another example. Let's say that your child has a test today at school, or needed, or is part of some kind of after a school curriculum, right? And they needed, let's say, their piano books. My child takes piano, so I'll use that. Let's say they needed piano books for school, and they forgot the piano books. And so you remember that they forgot the piano books. And so now you are driving and rushing and taking time away from work to go to the school to give them what they left at home, when you have actually reminded them, or even if you didn't, right? Should you do that, or should you not do that? I would advocate that you don't, because now they need to learn. That's the only way they will. You have to allow them to make mistakes. So let's say that they forgot their soccer shoes and now they have soccer at school. Should we go to the school and drop off the soccer shoes for them? No. Next time they will remember. Next time they remember to keep it by the door, so when they're heading out of the house, they can grab it and go. But teaching them agency is allowing them to take matters, in quote, into their own hands and making those decisions, because you want to train them as adults to make decisions without second guessing themselves all the time. Right? You want them to be able to step out and say, hey, I made this decision and I'm sticking with it, and these are the consequences. The problem with us sometimes as parents, and I'm not bashing you as a parent or myself, is that because we are afraid that our children will make mistakes, and we're worried about the consequences and what that would even reflect back on us, how that would look on us, we overstep and we overprotect and we overdo for our children without giving them the freedom to make mistakes. Mistakes are not bad. They need to learn to make mistakes and get over it. No wonder some of us as adults have a hard time making decisions and sticking with those decisions, because we haven't built that sense of agency in us. If my child knows that there's an exam coming, they need to take on that ownership and study for that exam. I don't have to keep reminding them to study. I can do that once, just out of courtesy, and say, hey, you have exams coming, right? So do your work. And then it's up to them. If they don't and they fail, it's back on them again. Now they have to learn from it, right? That is instilling that sense of discipline and also building confidence in themselves that, look, I am in charge of this and I can do it. Okay. So my daughter has exams coming up, I think in a couple of weeks. And yesterday I remembered picking her up, and the first thing she said was, oh, I'm going to go home and put my phone on do not disturb, because I really need to, dive deep and get ready for exams week. And so she's been prepping for that. That is a great example of agency, right? Because she has taken the initiative to turn down to put her phone on do not disturb so her friends are not constantly texting and calling her, so she can prepare for this exam that is coming up. That is agency. And that is where we want our children to be, where they can take ownership of where they are, right? On the flip side, I've also seen, in my own household, so I'm just telling you because I'm not perfect, right? And I have children with different personalities, right? And so, like, for example, this morning, one of my children has piano lessons this afternoon and they hadn't practiced. So they're leaving home in 15 minutes and I hear the piano going. And I'm like, you should have been practicing a whole week ago. But the piano teacher is going to find out that they haven't practiced because they were still making mistakes this morning. Right. So I don't have it. I'm not perfect, but I'm also learning that we need to instill agency in our children. It is so important that we do that. We allow them to make mistakes and they learn from it. Of course, age appropriate mistakes, right? So that if your 2-year-old wants to go out in the pajamas, you don't allow that because it's not age appropriate for them to have that autonomy onto what to wear. And sometimes you just have to give up and let them do it, because in the large scheme of things, does it really matter that they wear their pajamas out if you were just going to a quick run in the store? Sometimes it does. Sometimes you just have to, let go because you don't want to put up the fight. But as they get older, there are some decisions that you need to let them start making. If I'm telling you it's cold and you have decided not to listen to me and you are going to go out there and freeze, then you learn from it, because then the next time I tell you it's cold, you better put on some coat and a hat and gloves and all of that to keep warm. So anyway, I want to leave it here with you. I hope that something I've said will inspire you to start instilling agency in your child. Let them take ownership. And if they don't, then let them face the consequences, right? And if they fail, they fail. They will learn from it. I have had to leave a child home one time. We were going for an event and I kept saying, get ready, do X, Y, and Z. So you be ready for us to go. And they didn't. And I left them at home. I'm like, you don't get to go. Right. But they're learning from that, because the next time I say, do your work, because if you don't, we're not going, you will do your work. Right. And so that's how we build confidence in our children. That's how we build leadership skills in our children. That is how we make our children independent as they grow up. So I hope that you will start taking these steps, be more intentional, and foster agency in your child. Have a great day.